All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Can you guess what we are going to consider and go over in this video? Siding. And what a beautiful day to start layout. Absolutely fantastic. Now, if you've watched the channel, you know that we are huge fans of Huber Zip System. So why do we have Benjamin Opdyke HydroGap SA on this? Well, it's because I'm going to be doing some sponsored work for LP after all these years. And Huber and LP, they're competitors, right? So just like you don't advertise for your, your competitors don't advertise on your site. So you get it. So I'm trying to future-proof the content, which is why in a couple seconds you're going to notice I have a hard hat on right there. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Okay, so the HydroGap SA is a self-adhered house wrap. So it has an acrylic sealant and it's vapor open. So that's why we're not going to have any issues with the fact that we have zip and then HydroGap SA. So you notice the layout is right at the top of the siding. We're always going with top marks, no corner boards. We're going to install those later.
About halfway, I'm going to go up just a tiny bit.
This wall was 30 feet long. So by going up just a hair, we're taking out any sag, snap both sides of the line. Look at that beautiful morning. Okay, as I was saying, with LP SmartSide and other sidings, you can actually nail to just the wood structural panel sheathing. In that case, we would nail 12 inches on center. I just marked out the studs. It didn't take very long. So, okay, what I am doing here is we're doing layout. So I have a layout stick because we divided the coursing on the walls. I'll show you how to do that in another video, probably the next video. This one is long enough.
Go on.
Psych. Let's just do it now. It makes more sense to do it right now.
Okay, so I got a 3/8 spacer at the bottom. Let me go back here. That might be in that frame a little bit better. So 3/8 spacer at the bottom. So the total from the bottom of the siding to the soffit, I would say is 109. So if we go 109, like what, divided by 16 is going to get us close? 109 inch divided by 16 is 6 13/16. We had 109 inch and we divided by 7 inches. That was our 15.5 in round numbers. So 109 divided by 16, that gives us our 6 13/16 reveal. If I hit M plus, then plus, recall M. Now every time I hit equal, the calculator is going to do the math for me. So I have 6 13/16, hit equal, 13 5/8, equal, and it's just going to go on and on and on. 5 4 54.5, 6 1 61.5. The reason I say it that way is with earplugs. Sometimes a 61.5 sounds like a 51.5. To have no right side up or upside down. All right, so now I have 6 13/16, 6 13/16.
Once that stick is laid out, it was something like 6 13/16. Now you'll remember that we went to the trouble of using a laser to establish wall heights initially. We had pony walls, etc. Once that's done, we can now measure everything parallel to our soffits. So our deck is dead parallel to the soffit, meaning I don't need to get anything else out. We just took our number down from the top of the soffit. So this is the front wall. You can see that blue line. I'm going to dry line across the 30-foot wall.
So we're going to go left hand clockwise from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. We're going to pull it tight, but not super, super tight, because now with my right hand, I'm going to pull it counterclockwise.
So you just got to make sure you go opposite. So if you loop one way, then when you pull this side,
nice
go the opposite way and it will hold your string.
Now what I'm going to do is go in the middle and just push it up slightly. Gee, that is probably... That looks actually...
So remember, string lines don't lie unless they do, and that's why you eyeball it. I'm going to mark each side of the trim. That is now a reference or a benchmark. A control line or benchmark, basically the same thing, right? So I'm just going to mark these on each side of the trim, and you see that on the right-hand side, I just matched the siding that was already there. So with the HydroGap SA, it has little dots on it. I think they're 1 millimeter. And that technically allows for if there was to be water, bulk water, it could drain out. Or if there's vapor. I don't get into the building science stuff on this channel because, frankly, I'm not qualified to talk about it. We don't need something like this with overhangs like this. We just don't. Second, the zip itself, there's an ASTM test that you can see online where they put a piece of plexiglass up against it, measure the amount of water that goes in, how much comes out. It's like 98 or 99% drainage efficiency. So the textured surface of the zip panel accomplishes the same thing. I highly suggest using story poles because they're idiot proof. Look how much faster that is. Now, first of all, at 6 and 13/16, I don't think any of us are going to memorize like 10 of those added together to get them all. Whereas in the old days, we did all of our siding either 6 or 7 inches, and that was really easy. 6 inches, 1 foot, 1 foot 6, 2 foot, 2 foot 6. And if it was 7s, it was 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63. The list goes on. That's usually as high as I could reach. Plus, with the pencil, like that Pica-Dry, you can get 1 course higher as a short guy. That really matters for me. This is real time, by the way. I'm not speeding it up. I'm not trying to fool you. There we go. So by running the control line straight across, we're now going to be parallel with the soffit, parallel with the deck. And if there's any discrepancies, that's okay. This is going to be nice and straight. And generally, you want your stuff to be the straightest from like 6 foot down to like 5 foot, because that's most people's sight lines. Maybe lower if people are walking up to, or higher if they're walking down to the house. But this idiot proofs it. All of our layout will be done very quickly, starting from that straight line.
I think we'll try it and see if we can go 2 before we have to roll up. We'll see.
So which one is it? This guy.
Yeah. Good?
Yep.
I'm going to double snap this.
Yep.
Oh, nope. I'm over that thing. I'll go up 1. Typical plumbers. Yeah, I think blue's showing up pretty well.
I prefer to have
Good.
everything snapped top marks. It really simplifies the installation, and it doesn't take very long.
After this.
And when we side this wall in this video, you'll see. I mean, look at that sky. It's just a beautiful morning.
Yep.
Skip 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Bounced on that one.
You want to...
I got red if you really want to make it so you
Sure. Sure.
So similar principle, we're snapping from the corner to the center, just like we pulled layout. And then from center to the other corner.
Oh, yeah. That's nice and dark.
You get much less wobble in the string line.
We'll go to the other side.
Yeah, this shock box, I do like the line in it. I don't like the hook. I don't like the reel system. I would say, ultimately.
I'll leave this guy. Yeah, I don't know.
I like the Tajima box. It seems to be pretty durable, but
I feel like over the years, I think the first Tajima we bought, I feel like it was at JLC Live, like way back, 20 years ago.
when I first started using them, I would overfill them too much, and then that would jack them up. This one seems pretty legit just because it's the sturdy one where it's got all the hard, bigger gears and stuff in it.
Well, so we did the sturdy ones, and then they would just die once they got wet. Then we went with the cheaper ones, and they just died. These have been pretty good. Just slow your roll, Jordan.
So am I going this line?
Should be one more down.
Like the sweet hard hats.
You good there?
So for the sponsored content, I'm trying to future-proof the content.
And then we
So
can go
for
up.
LP, they have their list of rules.
Let's try
We
one
already
more
wear
and
all of our
double snap it.
PPE, but hard hats are really unnecessary. Like, where's the overhead hazard here, right?
And then I'm probably gonna have to skip a bunch here, so I'll just lay it out real quick.
Stack, I'll help you carry him over.
Do it, dude.
Jordan was busy getting pieces cut for the other side.
Okay, so that will get us there. That's like just tucked underneath that block. Typical. Am I in your way?
No, just every post is.
Right. See, we should have built the house with no posts. Next one down. Or did...
You snapped that one.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. Sorry, dude. You don't have to like freak out on me. Okay, this guy I can go through. I'm gonna pull her pretty tight. You like it? Good?
Good.
I didn't wait. I got the rhythm now.
Let's see there.
Okay, the upper one, will we even be able to see? Are we gonna probably snap a bottom line anyway?
So it looks like I'm just below.
Want to snap it? Okay, I think, well, in that case, I think we probably will snap a bottom line on the siding. Yeah. So the number one would be 14 foot 1/2. And then I'm going to subtract 12 feet minus 16 feet. So then your second cutoff would be a 2 foot 1/2. And then we just add 4 feet to each of that because our 4 foot offsets. So then 6 and then 10. 1 batch, 2 batch, 3 batch, 4. So we'd end up doing 4 of each of those lengths and 4 of each of our starters. The way I do it is there's no waste with the starters. Yeah. Because of 16 foot minus 4, minus 8, minus 12. So there's 0 waste out of that. On the other side, so this is kind of why I'm working it out mentally, is that 2 foot piece that's 2 foot 1/2. Why don't we just make it 2 foot and then the 14 footer works over there? We have cap over corners anyway.
Just 2 foot, yeah. Just
There's no waste.
What was that? No waste.
And then the other thing is we need to paint these cut ends if we're not going to caulk the butt joints.
Okay, so here's the detail from LP SmartSide. You don't have to use sealant at the butt joints. If to the factory paint, you add a layer of paint and then you use slip sheets or pan flashing.
So these are the factory ends. We're going to add an additional coat of paint. That combined with a slip sheet or pan flashing means that we don't have to caulk our butt joints on the wall.
You see my trusty coffee can there? Subscribe and save, baby, and save the cans.
Oh yeah, this is my trusty little coffee can. We just do subscribe and save on Amazon. And I just save the cans. And then I just tape the brush in there, and that keeps the brush good for the duration of the project.
So what you might not notice is that when I do voiceovers, it's like stream of conscious. I don't always remember what I edited because that might have been days ago. So we get a little bit of repeat. Okay, first course. At the bottom, we have rips that kick out so that the lap matches all the way up because each piece is going to lap itself. Lap siding. So see that starter strip at the bottom?
Does this guy look... No, I'll just bring it down.
Then we're spacing the first piece and the starter strip a minimum of 3/8.
Yeah, you're right.
That happens to be just the siding itself. If we were closer to the drip line, it has to be 1 inch according to their instructions. So just keep that in mind. Read the instructions.
Let me stage these. If they're put the 4 footers leaning up on your side.
See the cut ends? They're painted.
And I'm gonna put the primed 8 footers here.
So our gapping is 4 foot offsets. No waste. Because there's 16 foot pieces to start with. So 16, then 12, then 8, then 4. Rinse,
Good.
lather, repeat.
I'll get these slip sheets in. Pretty good on the line.
Question: when you do it, I guess you do it just from the back of that thing or the reveal of it, huh?
Normally, if I'm short enough, I can see it. You know, like.
I questioned myself when I was doing it.
As long as it's consistent is what I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely don't need to overthink this stuff. Straight. So this is how we've installed for many years. It's not technically correct. We order our siding as early as possible to just let it acclimate. When we measure it, if it measures over 16 foot, it means it's already acclimated.
Okay.
This is why we can get away with some of what you're going to see in this video.
The 14.
When you nail the siding, you are supposed to work from either the center to each end or from one end to the other. You don't want you just never want material to like pressure toward itself. You don't want to put tension into the material. However, because we've let these boards acclimate and we've done this for so long with no issues, that's why you're seeing us do this wrong. And if I'm being really honest, I did not know that in the instructions they wanted you to work from the center out or from one end to the other until recently.
Yeah, then once you nail yours, I always try to go middle and then end because sometimes they can get a little bit squirrely.
Okay, so what I just said there is okay because we've already expanded. That's why we let it acclimate. Comes out very dry, like exactly 16 foot. Then follow LP's instructions. Do not imitate awesome framers. Those are 5x8 step flash. You just buy them at the lumber yard. I think they work out to be less than 50 cents a piece. Now you can see why I like to have those lines snapped, because even on the shorty pieces, I know it's going to be straight. So 16, 12, 8, 4, 16,
Okay,
16,
this guy-
16, 16.
Yeah, I'm just going to mark it in place since you're gapping it.
And that is not the way that we normally would have our hose bib blocks, but that's the plumber's
Okay.
got it installed before we could say something. We like to put our own blocks
Let me
on the
just
wall,
mark.
flash them in place.
Yeah. Just mark it in place. And I'm going to go, what was our reveal, 6 and 13?
Yeah.
Well, that's like nothing.
Yeah, you're taking just the very tip of it off.
Not my preferred way to do it this way. Normally we'd have sawhorses set up. Just wasn't a lot of room. And on this side, very little cutting. You notice the blocks there on the left? Those have metal, they're taped.
You like it?
I don't know if we're missing tape on the left one. Looks like they might have tucked it underneath the hydro gap. Those are blocks that we installed, and then the septic
Okay, I forgot
controls
to
went on
snap
that.
this line.
Here.
The reason I like the metal pan flashing is because it sits in my nail bags better. There's a lot of other versions you can buy. They might even be cheaper. I don't know. But we've used these for about 20
well,
years.
here.
We used to install a lot of fiber cement, and we did the pan flashing instead of putting caulking or sealant at those butt joints.
Yeah, if you handle that side.
Most of the stuff you could do by yourself, but with two people, it goes quick. You know, cut as much as you can, prime the ends, stage it, and then you can just go into install mode.
What we've been doing?
We're nice and close.
When you're working together, sometimes it just makes sense. Put the board in place, just mark it, as opposed to taking measurements.
So my question is, on top, 6 and 14. Yeah, that's why I do the blocks. Yeah, that's exactly. Okay, so my question is, that's a caulk, so I don't need to. Hey, look at that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Kyle, is once you go ahead and nail yours, I'm going to come to the middle. This guy's just a little squirrely. All right, you want to just do the 16 on your side?
Poor Kyle. His gun just kept falling off his pouch. See, once I'm nailed to the line, this is part of why we do it this way, is then I can goof around with the slip sheet and still adjust from that nail out to where I'm at. Kyle can do whatever he needs to do out there. He's just going to spot check periodically. And you might see him pull out his tape measure here and there. Just skip it. We don't need tape measures at this point, or except to measure and cut around things. We have our snap lines. That's the important thing. We don't care. Skip the tape whenever you can. The prophet Larry Hahn said that in 1 Larry chapter 2, paragraph 1. Okay, so Jordan was done with his stuff, so now he could be our cut person. So we had a bunch of stuff to cut around this. I gave him some numbers to try and cut out of scrap. Then that will get us up and around those blocks. Okay, so we'll speed up the footage because this isn't going to be that important. And quite frankly, I think it's probably easier to see some of this if it's sped up. So you want to be down a certain amount. I think it's 3/4 of an inch down from the top when you nail. You can see sometimes we don't get that quite right. We're just keeping it real. I'm showing it warts and all.
Can you eyeball across the bottom?
Even though I have a snap line. If it looks good, it is good.
Looks like your far end needs to go up. A little too much. Down just a hair. Right there.
Okay, so that's on my line. These little guys, they always want to lie.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one up, where would the seam be?
So next one would be this guy.
So even though we have the 12 pre-cut, well, the blocks got in our way, right? But it's still worth taking the time to do that. And we do have that painted end, so it can go on. We can keep going with our slip sheet. So see, I nailed in the middle. Kyle can do whatever he needs to do. So here's what our thinking is and was. I'll try to show it more in line with the instructions in the future. By nailing, if the person who has the butt joint in the slip sheet nails it in the middle, the other guy's going to line his up on the left in this case. Then I would walk out to the end and I would nail one back from the end so that I can tuck my slip sheet, then nail, and then finish nailing. With 16-foot pieces, you only need to end, middle, end, and the rest of it's going to stay straight. So don't get yourself bogged down by checking everywhere you nail for straight. The boards are straight, so 3 spots. That's why we snap lines. And then you just go for it. It's really easy to just stare at this stuff too much and overthink it. And then periodically just put your eye on it. If we need to, we'll put a block and we'll pound it up and add a couple nails.
That I'm an idiot?
See, I nailed in the middle. But I'm going to wait because if I yank, that's going to move his. Now we can just start nailing. And looks like I got 1 or 2 of those just a little high.
I like these ones too.
16 right behind you.
So can you tell? Kyle and I have not sided very much together. Once we really get into a rhythm after a house or two, then you just know. For me, it's second nature. We've done this for so long. And it only takes a couple of walls to just get right into the rhythm. So see how I waited? Now I nail one back and I'm going to tuck the slip sheet in while he works his way down. Because sometimes they just get a little finicky. If you're not familiar with LP SmartSide, I'll put links in the description below. I'm not going to try to sell you on it. We made the switch. Well, we used LP for like over a decade. When I was a kid, I would go out and help. We switched from cedar to LP. There was an issue with the inner seal in the 90s. We did a bunch of warranty work, and then we switched to fiber cement. We hated every second of it. It's actually on my house. 2009, 2010, something like that. We switched back to LP SmartSide. I did a bunch of research on it. Couldn't find any issues. My issue with fiber cement is the main manufacturer has changed their instructions yearly. And so if you were to compare how we installed in, let's say, 2007 fiber cement, You read the instructions today. It's different. So you'll find a lot of hate about SmartSide online, and quite frankly, they're misinformed and very ignorant people. I deal with this a lot on social media. Just for the record, go to James Hardy's YouTube channel and watch the How It's Made video. Fiber cement. Do you know what the fiber is? According to James Hardy, it is wood pulp. So a lot of people, us included, when we first started using it, we thought, oh, it's concrete board. It is not concrete board. It is fiber cement. It's also a wood product. Just basically, just get informed, learn as much about the product, and don't be a fanboy. Like, I'm not going to say that fiber cement is the worst product on the planet. I just hate it. I don't like working with it. Okay, whenever you get below windows, snap a line. Snap a line. It's going to allow us to take measurements. We don't shoot our windows in with lasers, and so that's why you can see that there's a difference. So when we're moving them around in the openings and then trimming them out, a lot of times there's just a little bit of variation. So I would have gone left to right from the corner and read numbers to Jordan, and then at each corner of the window, how much siding am I going to leave underneath the window?
Okay, go ahead and pull yours down.
And so we're straight to the line under the window, but still it's best to get your eye on it and just straighten it out.
Can you gap me just a tiny bit?
3/16 is the gap that LP says.
Let's go 11 7/8, left to right.
But we've already let them acclimate.
Don't you dare tell me to hold on.
11 7/8.
Yep. And then 5 3 53 7/8.
We think Jordan's smarter than us. He doesn't ever forget anything.
The other side of the window is 132 11.
It is super frustrating because I forget everything.
And total length will be 14 foot. And then I'll give you at each of them what I want you to leave underneath. So from 0 to the line you have, let's go 1.5 inches. Then the left side of the other window, let's go 1 5/8 inches.
All right, now here is one of the things I love about SmartSide. That is a 16-foot long piece cut to whatever the cutoff was at the end. Look at that. It doesn't break. Now, there's a little bit of a technique, though, to make sure
I have to go
that this is straight.
right here. And then I think, yeah, that's on the line. That looks good.
Underneath the window, we got to go 8 inches on center with the nailing.
And then I guess we got really lucky because these don't hit the strap. And that's, I mean, on the snap line, that looks really good.
Previous videos, we had that heavy-duty force transfer around opening strap. I hit it very often in nailing trim, but thankfully
good, yeah.
up just high enough. It's basically underneath the trim on the window.
Ow! Coil! I need a coil! Oh, dude. Oh. 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 Hey, I'll take it. Ooh, 1 inch of death. I'm just out here hollering. To it, let's go 17, 15 and leave the line. Ooh, 1 inch of death. Ooh, 1 inch of death. Scared. Okay, I have 7 and 11 tight, so I think we want to go 7.5.
Hey man, I'm just saying, gang cut whenever possible, and then skip the pocket screws. Oh yeah, prime all of the cut ends. You know you're supposed to do that on your siding and trim of choice. Skip all the pocket screws and the biscuits. That's a waste of time. Instead, use the corrugated fastener tool that we bought from Nail Gun Depot many years ago. This is not a structural connection. This is just allowing us to prefab so that we can set the window trim nice and easy.
Dude, it fits perfectly. It's like I can do it.
Stretch.
I know.
Manufacturer requires 3/8 gap off that head flash metal,
Yeah, the chisel.
so we just used a
It's
scrap
working
piece
pretty
of
much
3/8 siding, the SmartSide. Now, as I work my way around nailing the window with that nice cordless pass load nailer, you'll notice that I'm not nailing it per the manufacturer's instructions. Gasp! Shock! The reason for that is we have the big heavy gauge straps above and below the window for earthquakes, and so I have to be careful where I shoot it. But I forgot and shot the strap. I did that on the other window. This window I remembered. Then metal head flashing over the top piece of trim, and then of course we're going to tape it with that acrylic tape that is part of the Benjamin Obdyke system, along with that HydroGap SA. And then of course remember, it's a pressure activated adhesive, so we got to roll the tape or somehow pressure activate it.